Oh, what's good, everybody? It's a glorious Monday morning here in the Early Edge universe, your daily sports betting brand of record. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it is not close. After almost 6 months, show after show, day after day, ticket after ticket, what I believe are the two best teams in football will meet in the Super Bowl. What a day we had yesterday. We had some wins. We had some losses. That's what happens when all of your cappers put in best bets like we asked them to do this week. But we got the Eagles blowing out the 49ers. But there were some bad beats in there. See it, for instance, when you have a quarterback that can't even throw the football, Christian McCaffrey, 15 rush attempts, like literally with a minute to play. Why are you running the ball down 30? But they had to, and that is football. But with all that being said, still a busy, busy week at the brand. Coming up on Tuesday, yes, it's almost 2 weeks early, but we got to get you set. We got to get you ready. Best bets, the props, things to look at, trends. It all happens at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time for our Super Bowl mega preview. And you know it's RJ, the Stoic One, Maestro, M Squared, the usual crew. So with all that being said, boy, I feel good today. Let's bring in the stars of the show. First and foremost, live from Sin City, Las Vegas, Zack Attack. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. All this controversy this weekend, LeBron James and the Lakers Saturday, yesterday with the Bengals and Chiefs, and then earlier in the week, North Carolina, Syracuse really started it off. So I'm interested to see what happens today because you know it's going to continue when that type of theme starts to go.
You're damn right it is. Next, he is everything NFL. And I know yesterday was rooting hard for all of his picks and all of our picks. He is, of course, the maestro, Larry Hartstein. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I can tell, Coach, that you are in a fine mood today with your Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It seems like Twitter is being dominated by conspiracy theories today about the Devontae Smith catch, no catch, about, the refs wanting Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. But I just have one question because, yes, officiating is bad. Mm-hmm. But if you truly believe the league is rigged, then why aren't you incorporating that into your bets?
Because apparently that wouldn't be how handicappers have always done it, Maestro. You know how it is. We're supposed to be stuck in 1995. By the way, they had 15 seconds in that Eagles game. It was smart by the Eagles. Stop with the conspiracy theories. Now, this man is just the gift that keeps on giving to all of us in the Early Edge universe. Maybe the only man on planet Earth that does not have his phone backed up automatically. Buckets. What's good, my man?
Good morning, Coach. Good morning, Zach, Larry. It's great to be here. I did not have anything backed up on my phone, as we all know, so I've just been kind of texting random numbers and hoping that I'm hitting the right people, just kind of winging it like usual.
That's just who you are. Just winging it like usual. That's the beauty of buckets. All right, let's get into it. Storylines that could affect the betting lines today. And I got to tell you, it's going to be 2 weeks. We always complain about it. We always say, oh, it's too long. But yet then every single day we talk about it. It is the Super Bowl for a reason. Maestro, start us off.
Interesting line move already because Circa, one of the smartest books, opened the Chiefs at -2.5. And now we're seeing that totally flipped. All the money came in on the Eagles. All the books are now either at Eagles -2, some at 2.5. And there's a chance, maybe a chance it gets to 3. I think a lot of people would love to have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid plus a full field goal in the Super Bowl. But right now, clearly everyone early likes the Eagles. And the Chiefs, aside from Patrick Mahomes being hurt, aside from Travis Kelce dealing with some back issues, you lost Kadarius Toney, Mecole Hardman, Juju Smith-Schuster, L'Jarius Sneed, and Willie Gay. Those are 5 pieces that were injured yesterday. So we're going to have to watch the injury report on that. The Eagles did lose a starting right guard, a Pro Bowl guard, and we'll see, but they have Dillard to back him up. So it's not as big of a concern. My early thought in the matchup is Andrew Wiley has got to be on his P's and Q's against Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick is a machine. 19.5 sacks, 6 forced fumbles this season. Clearly upset that he was not Defensive Player of the Year, but he single-handedly changed the game yesterday, knocking out both quarterbacks, and you just can't block him one-on-one. So that, to me, is the most interesting matchup to watch so far. I will say one thing with all the Eagles' love, Jalen Hurts did not look good yesterday. I mean, those throws in terms of his passing, he missed wide open throws down the field. I don't know if it's his shoulder or just being inaccurate, but that is an area of concern. But anyway, can't wait for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did cash his under rushing total yesterday. And all those injuries you talked about, if everybody watched our live shows, we had 3 of them yesterday, then we had a ton of leans that leaned right into those injuries. Tony, we had both of his unders. He got hurt. We had Juju Smith's unders. He got hurt. And so those came in easy. So sometimes that happens when you lean into it, but hashtag it pays to watch live. Maestro, thank you very much. Now, college hoops is now going to take center stage for the next 2 months. And nobody is better than my man, Zack Attack. But there's an East Coast team, Zack, that is flying under the radar, as they always seem to do. I can't quite figure it out. Who am I talking about?
Yeah, the Providence Friars under Ed Cooley. He's been there since 2011. They made that memorable run in 2014 with Chris Dunn. And they were kind of quiet for a long time. A good team, but they would be middle of the pack or 4th or 5th in the pack of the Big East. But now over the last 2 years, they've started to change. They won the Big East title last year. Right now, they're the co-leaders of the conference at 9-2 with Xavier, and they're going to have another big matchup Wednesday against Xavier. So that's going to be one of the most profiled matchups of the week, and they're covering at will. 12-2 over their last 14 games against the spread. I really love what Ed Cooley has done. Always been a good coach, but now he's been one of the few coaches that's used the portal to his advantage to make his teams from good to great. We saw this last year, and now he's doing it again. We have 2 key transfers in Noah Locke, who came over from Florida, Louisville, and Bryce Hopkins from Kentucky.
All right, very good. Great information. And when is their next game, Zack?
Wednesday against Xavier.
Wednesday against Xavier. High-scoring team, by the way, that Xavier Musketeers. Great storyline, Zack. Thank you very much. Now, Buckets, who says that you don't help people when you're not even trying to help people? Because in the chat, my man, I think it's Brandon, says, I just hit backup on my phone thanks to Buckets. So there you go. You're helping people. Now, we have made it through the World Cup. We have made it through the month of January, but now a very important window in the world soccer market is coming to an end. What am I talking about?
You are talking about the January transfer window that closes tomorrow. In the soccer world, it's very bizarre how you're allowed to buy, sell, and trade for players. You can only do it as a club twice a year. The first time is the summer transfer window, which is June to September, and the second time is the January transfer window, which is only for the month of January. And usually we don't see a ton of action come the January transfer window. Teams are kind of finding their form. They've got stuff figured out. They're not too worried about things. You maybe see teams that are fighting in a relegation battle or a promotion battle pick up a couple extra players to bolster the lines, but it's usually pretty quiet. But that's not been the case this year. We are seeing an absolutely crazy amount of trades and sales going on. Chelsea alone is set to spend over 250 million euros on transfers just in the month of January. We're seeing Chelsea buy players. We're seeing Bayern Munich pick up Cancelo from Man City after this morning. We're seeing Everton, Arsenal. Everyone is going crazy right now. And this will absolutely affect the betting world because these teams that have been struggling might not be struggling after January. So we want to keep a very close eye on what happens this next 48 hours.
Very, very interesting. I wonder what would happen if you could, if we had a trade window for sports betting shows. I wonder what would happen. Can you trade cappers, trade talent? I don't know. Would we keep you, Buckets? That's the question. Would we keep you? Would we keep you? All right, let's get into our board for the day because we got a ton of great picks coming at you. But as always, you see who I have on the show. They're expensive. I got to pay them. So let's hear from one of our incredible partners.
Italy's best clubs and brightest stars bring show-stopping skills and unbelievable thrills in the fight to the finish for the Scudetto. Stream every Serie A match live on Paramount Plus.
Now, if you are not a SportsLine, what are you doing?
It's a good ad. It gets me hyped.
If you are not a SportsLine member, what are you doing? If you are, you just made it through almost 6 months of football in a beautiful way with all the best cappers in the world. But right here, right now, I'm going to do you a solid. Come join the family. Use a promo code early. I'll give you 30 days for free. You can try out the Super Bowl, college basketball, NBA, NHL, all-star game in both sports. You can get it all in the next 30 days if you become a member. Use the promo code early. 2 plays from SportsLine today, both from the NBA. and be very careful. I would even suggest maybe a half a unit till the NBA figures things out. But we're going to go in Brooklyn tonight. The Nets, all of a sudden, they're scoring like crazy. The Lakers are ticked off about what happened in Boston on Saturday night. They're getting healthy. They've got their new player, Hachimura, playing now. Now, we'll see what they do together, but I believe they will still be a high-scoring team. So let's go over 230, minus 110. Then another NBA game. Warriors are on the road. Oklahoma City. If you've been sleeping on them, we have not. We've been cashing ticket after ticket. They're getting 5 at home. This is a great spot. In fact, our simulations at SportsLine have the Thunder winning this game by 1. And so we're getting about 6 points of value, which is a word everybody hates in sports betting. Oh, I hate value. So I just keep using it. All right, now, where do I start? It's like an embarrassment of riches. It truly is. But Zack Attack, I would love, if you don't mind, for you to start us off. What do you got today?
No problem, Coach. I'm going to go with Syracuse plus 5.5 against Virginia. I didn't even look at the betting percentages of this, but I know it's probably heavy on Virginia, 70-75% with the way Syracuse played on Saturday against Virginia Tech. It was a flat spot again, and they got demolished. But I think they're going to bounce back today. Virginia, they've won 6 straight games, convincing wins. But I think this has more to do with the calendar spot. Tail end of January, going into February right now, middle of conference play. This is when you start to see ugly basketball. It doesn't matter how talented you are. You're going to start to see it. It happens every year in college basketball. And I look at this Virginia team. They actually faced Syracuse early January. They had a 22-point lead. It looked like it was going to be a complete blowout. And Syracuse did not let them score a basket for 9 minutes of game action. They ended up coming back, only losing by 7. So I think that gives them a little bit of confidence. Like I said, this calendar spot's going to be tricky for both teams. I think it's going to be a slop fest. They both played 48 hours ago. Expect a grudge match, ugly basketball. Syracuse covers the 5.5.
All right, I like it a lot. I see some of you in the chat, by the way, talking about LeBron and AD. I failed to mention, probably not going to play. I still like this over. I really do. But again, I just told you, take your unit down because the NBA is very, very hard. And they could be playing by 5 o'clock. I'm tired of the NBA. I'm tired of all that. But take it into account. Yes, Maestro.
Coach, can I just say this is my all-time favorite type of Zack Cimini play. Virginia coming in, winning 6 straight, looking great. Syracuse, gets blown out by 15 at Virginia Tech. I'm all on.
They've actually played well. It was just a flat spot for them on Saturday. Everybody knew that the way they lost to North Carolina, but they've been playing well outside of that game.
And that's why he's Zack Cimini.
Yes, you are. And they've been a good over team too, as a matter of fact. They've been a really good total team as well.
And I will also just say, sorry to take over the show, Coach, but Zack has been doing our live betting shows, which are on every night on CBS Sports HQ, 8 to 9, and they're also on the weekend. And his record on there is incredible.
Yeah, well, Claudio in the chat wants to know all of our records for all of our cappers. So would you like to just throw all the rest of just so Claudio can be happy in the chat?
Well,
no? Okay.
I don't have time right now, but you go to any experts page, you can see every single pick they've ever made.
Oh, my God. Stop with the 1995 thought processes. Oh, it drives me insane. Oh, I need to know. Oh, I need to know this. Know that you enjoy it. That's what I know. I enjoy this. Early Edge is where you need to be. Claudio, you're here for a reason. You came today for a reason. You're in our chat. We're not in your chat. You're in our chat. Drives me insane. Absolutely insane. Jairi, you're right. I'm glad. I'm sorry I saw those comments. I got to calm myself down. And Buckets can always do that. So, Buckets, I'm staring at my notes, and you have not 1, not 2, but 3 big picks that, as I'm looking at them, they could all qualify for the here or there parlay that comes out every single Friday on Big Pick Energy Friday. But that's on Friday. This is Monday. What do you got today, big boy?
Coach, even though I don't have Martin's soothing voice here, I'm still going to try to help calm you down with some fantastic value in these soccer picks. We're going to be starting with a match at 12:45 in the FA Cup. It's a match between Derby County and West Ham United. Now, on paper, West Ham United is vastly the superior team. Derby County is in the 4th tier of English soccer, so 4 tiers below the EPL. However, this is a tricky game because West Ham does not care about this game. West Ham is currently fighting a relegation battle in the Premier League, and it does not matter if you win the FA Cup if you get relegated. So West Ham is going to play with a rotated squad. We're going to see a ton of second-string teams or members playing, and Derby County will relish the opportunity to play under the bright lights on a big stage. We're going BTTS here at -110 because currently, when there's been a 2-division separation or greater in the FA Cup, BTTS is hitting at over a 60% rate. Expect a scrappy match here from Derby County, and I love this first look. And then, only available on Paramount Plus, we have Synergy. We have a Serie A matchup between Udinese and Hellas Verona. And these are two teams that the World Cup break did a world of difference for. Udinese was in perfect form before the World Cup. They were this weirdly unbeatable team that was rivaling the top 4. Then the World Cup break happened, and they cannot win since then. They have just been plummeting since the World Cup break. And they're going against a Hellas Verona side who looked abysmal before the break. They got a new manager, and now they are on the up and up, and they are winning and scoring goals every single game here. Once again, keeping this easy, both teams to score at -110, 245 this afternoon in Serie A. And then finally, this is kind of the weird one, so bear with me here. We have a matchup between Glentoran FC and the Crusaders FC in the Northern Ireland Premiership. This could be listed under your book as Northern Ireland Premiership, as NIL, NIP, or NIFL. So look around, do the research. I promise you'll be able to find it. This is a matchup between the two best attacking teams currently in Northern Ireland. These teams have played 7 times in the last 16 months, and over 2.5 has hit in 5 of these 7. Glentoran, when playing at home this season, is hitting over 2.5 goals at an over 70% rate, and Crusaders on the road is hitting at over a 65% rate. A little bit of a system play because of fair odds to me on this are -150, but currently over 2.5 goals is also sitting at -110. All 3 of these games start at 245 this afternoon.
Look at how the little man has grown up. He's all grown up. Ryan says Buckets is under the bright lights every single day. You used the line that we used to put in the Rocks promos with me all the time. You go, bright lights, big city. You just use that. I can't even imagine you living in New York City. Not that that would ever be a possibility, but I can't even imagine Buckets living in New York City. That would be crazy. By the way, Empire State Building, don't be bullied by Dave Portnoy to change the collars that you put up last night. Did you guys see that? They put up the Eagles collars at the top of the Empire State Building, and they went bananas. New Yorkers went bananas. And Dave Portnoy put out a tweet going, "What are you doing? You should be embarrassed." So they changed it to the Chiefs collars, like around midnight last night. Don't be bullied by Dave Portnoy. Come on. Buckets, do you know who Dave Portnoy is?
I knew you were going to ask it. And of course, I have no idea who Dave Portnoy is.
He's the head of Barstool. He's the head of Barstool. I knew you didn't know who he was. All right. Now, as we already started the show with college basketball, now we're going to back end it also with college hoops that we are laser focused on moving forward. Can't wait for March Madness. So, Maestro, it's your spot. What do you got?
This should be a good one in Austin. Baylor visiting Texas. Texas has done well under Rodney Terry, the interim coach, 10-3 straight up, but only 4-9 against the spread. And they've had a lot of trouble with Baylor. They've lost 12 of the last 13 straight up to Baylor. And Baylor coming in, they had a bad stretch where they lost 3 in a row. Well, now they've won 6 in a row, and they're not even shooting the ball well. That's the thing that impresses me is they have gritted out the last few wins without shooting the ball well, but they're capable of that with Flagler and George and Cryer, etc. I think this game will go to the wire. I think this is too high. I'm going to take 3.5 with the Baylor Bears.
God, I cashed Baylor last week against my favorite team, Maestro, the KU Jayhawks. Oh, I love how Baylor is playing right now. By the way, a little added bonus for all of you. M Squared is in the chat this morning. And Buckets, he just had a message for you. He said Dave Portnoy played high school football with Randy Moss. Little inside joke if you're watching last week. Buckets doesn't know who Randy Moss is either. So Buckets is 14 years old. So that's why he doesn't know who any of these people are. By the way, Amax. By the way, if you guys are looking for a good follow and a really good capper, because full transparency, trying to get him here on the show, Amax is amazing. Buckets was nearly escorted out of his room during a live early edge because he was past his checkout time in New York City. Traveling is not for him. That did happen. You kept looking at the door instead of looking at the camera.
Well, someone kept knocking on the door yelling, you gotta go, and I had to finish the show, obviously, so it was tricky.
Zach, is there not a little thing you can put on the door so they don't knock on the door? Does that exist?
Yes, of course there is. Of course there is.
Interesting.
Zach never has my back. It's crazy.
he shouldn't. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here is the recap, courtesy of Snick. And the Maestro is on the Baylor Bears. Just love it. I think they're going to win every game the rest of the way. That's how good I think they're playing right now. Baylor, and we're going to get 3.5. Love it. Zack attack on Syracuse plus 5.5. Don't worry about the weekend. The Cuse is the play. Then Buckets, 3 big plays in the world of soccer today. Derby, West Ham, both teams to score. Udinese and Verona from Serie A, both teams to score. Then Glittering Crusaders over 2.5 minus 110. Then 2 big plays from SportsLine itself. Lakers, Nets. Now I know LeBron not scheduled to play tonight. I still like this. The Nets have been scoring a lot of points. I think there could be a lot of garbage time buckets. So we'll go over 230 there. Then the Thunder plus 5. And of course, you know what's coming up today, Early Edge in 5. They have made that show their own. EC and the Speculator. We're actually thinking about calling it EC and the Speculator. I'm kidding. We're not going to call the show that, but it'd be nice. Good show today, gentlemen. Good show today. A lot of fun to end our week. For those of you in the chat who are the old school guys, we end our week on Mondays. Hopefully that's okay. Without posting our records on every single show. But with all that being said, damn it, this is fun. There's only one thing left to do, and I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my entire crew, love them all. Zack Attack, Maestro, Buckets, and Snake, always on the 1s and the 2s. I am the coach. Turn on your notifications. By the way, hit the like button for me. It helps the show grow. You all are getting very lazy on me out there. We come every single day. Just hit that little like button for me. That's all you need to do, because we love to grind with you so we can win with you. And I just screwed that all up. But that's what happens when you're live at the Early Edge. Good luck.